Instead, we have the opportunity to make a habit of empathy, to recognize ourselves in each other.
Hi, I'm here at the Convention Center in Santa Clara at the Hyatt. And this is the GOP Republican State Convention, and I'm going to be here interviewing people about what empathy means to them. So I'm going to ask conservatives and libertarians and Republicans to tell me what their thoughts and feelings and their stories about empathy are. So far, they've been very courteous to me. I was able to get a press registration, and with no problem. They're very generous and just kind of signed me up and gave me press credentials. So starting off very good, very positive.
I'm Nick Bradford. I'm a freshman from USC, University of Southern California. I grew up in Claremont, California, and I now live in Carlsbad. I'm studying poli-sci and creative writing, and I hope to make a living in fiction writing one day. Empathy is seeing your face in every face and putting a face on every human. I studied abroad in Germany for 6 months, and so, for example, we're at the Republican Convention right here. But I think it's important to remember that not everyone's Republican. I lived in Germany. I lived with a very progressive family, and I understand other people's views, and I think that's a big part of being empathetic. I think we have to acknowledge that there's a second argument always. There's never just one argument. I think, from my experiences, I've come to acknowledge that there is a face on every human being, and that when you make a decision, you make a decision to affect that person. And I think all decisions are with consequences, and hopefully we all try to make decisions that not only affect us well, but affect everyone well.
I'm Diane Linning. I'm a retired educator from over 30 years. I taught in Orange County and some in LA County, as well as the California Youth Authority. And I'm currently running for State Superintendent of Public Instruction. Well, what comes to my mind is that famous idiom about walking in someone else's shoes. I think many people would think of that. And I think it's easy to understand in a phrase that you really don't know what it's like about some things in life until you've experienced it like that other person has experienced it. And that is so true about so many things. I had a period of time in my 30s when I was ill for a number of years. And until that, I never really knew what it was like to be a sick person. But now I'm totally well, and I have no signs of that anymore. But sometimes people are really mean to people when they're sick. I was treated worse than I've ever been treated in my life those years I was sick. Like, people would be real upset if I didn't open the door for them at a shopping center when I couldn't open it. But I looked okay. You know, they had misconceptions about why I didn't open that door for them. And so it's really important that we look to the possibility of reasons as to why people's actions are what we observe. And we need to give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe they're not feeling good today, or there's something going in their life that they just can't reach out today. I think that's a part of empathy, is trying to understand the other person's viewpoint and the other person's feelings and where they're coming from.
Well, it sounds like empathy is very important to you then.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. I think it's a very important characteristic that we all need.
I'm Kathy Carlson, and I identify myself as a conservative. I'm a Republican. I'm probably more liberal on some social issues than other Republicans. You can also manipulate empathy. You go to, once I got taken to a Shackley pyramid scheme. I didn't know what it was. And so they do all, it was like a religious experience. And so at the end, they're starting to sing patriotic songs, and everybody's supposed to grab hands, and they started lifting their hands up. And I'm going, I don't like that, because I don't like somebody controlling and manipulating my emotions, trying to get everybody to be empathetic. That verges on cultism. I don't like that. So I'm very aware that way that you can manipulate people.
My name is Micah Grant. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, California, South Central. Empathy would be like a dove, actually. You know, my dad actually used to raise doves. He's Jamaican, and the Jamaicans have a lot of hobbies. I've watched doves interact. They truly are harmless, but at the same time, they know how to, defend themselves in a meaningful way, not in a way that's going to be so obstructionist, if you will, that they can't interact later. And I guess we're all like that to a degree, but I just think that empathy would probably be a dove, because they actually, they look out for each other. So I mean, even growing up in inner city, you have to look out for each other. So yeah, I would say that empathy would be like a dove.